So here comes the first big confirmation test of the new Congress, with the president's pick for Attorney General set to face lawmakers about 13 hours from now. William Barr's nomination is already sparking controversy, the left suggesting that he could interfere with the Mueller probe.
Bill Barr had better give us some ironclad, rock-bottom assurances in terms of his independence and his willingness to step back and let Mueller finish his job.
I would need a firm commitment that he will not allow any interference in the Mueller investigation. He'll allow it to reach its conclusion, and he will release the report to the public.
So Fox News has obtained an early look at Barr's written testimony for tomorrow, in which he will state, quote, "I believe it is vitally important for the special counsel to be allowed to complete his investigation." Senate Judiciary Committee member Chuck Grassley will be questioning Mr. Barr. He served as that committee's chairman during the Kavanaugh hearings and for many years. Senator Grassley, it's great to see you this evening. Congratulations on your Senate pro tempore distinction, which is what you will be third in line for the president, right?
Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment, and I appreciate the honor and even the work that goes with it.
Well, Senator, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Let me get your thoughts as we move forward to the Barr testimony tomorrow morning. And I want to play for you your colleague who's taken over the chairmanship, Senator Lindsey Graham, his comment on Fox News Sunday. Watch this.
I'm going to ask him, do you see any reason to fire Mr. Mueller based on what you know now for cause? Do you trust Mr. Mueller to be fair to the president and the country? Will you make sure he can finish his job? If you get the report, will you be as transparent as possible? I've asked him those questions, and I'm very comfortable with his answers.
Obviously, that's going to be the central debate tomorrow, Senator.
Well, that's absolutely right, and I think that I heard what the 2 or 3 Democrats you had on here before you got me on, and what they're demanding of Barr. I think he already should have satisfied them by the statements he's going to make tomorrow in his opening statement, already released, that he said he's going to let it play out, and what more assurance can he give to Democrats that that's going to be the case? And if that's the big thing that's holding up their support of him, he ought to be able to get through the Senate like he did 3 other times in his earlier career to be Attorney General and other positions within the H.W. Bush administration. He was approved unanimously, and that time he was praised by Leahy, now in the United States Senate, and Biden, who was in the Senate at that particular time. So it seems to me like he ought to have smooth sailing, considering what Democrats are demanding of him.
Well, we know smooth sailing isn't something we see a lot in confirmation hearings these days. I want to play this from Alberto Gonzales, who served in the Bush administration as AG, and get your reaction to this, sir. Let's play it.
Well, he obviously wrote this memo to the department questioning the authority of the special counsel to investigate the president with respect to obstruction. And so that creates an appearance of possible bias and prejudice. And so if I'm Bill Barr, I'm going to have a conversation with the career ethics officials at the Department of Justice and get their advice.
I mean, this is the same kind of thing that we saw in one regard with the Kavanaugh hearings, where someone has stated opinions on various things prior to the confirmation process, but that they will argue that they come at this new position with fresh eyes and a fresh frame of reference, given what the job demands of them.
Well, I think, first of all, the concerns that are raised by this statement by Gonzales and what he's presuming Democrats are going to bring up ought to be answered by the previous discussion you and I had. But you also got to remember that a lot of attorneys general, past attorneys generals, are called upon for opinion. A lot of them don't wait until they're called upon. They give their opinion. He's giving it as a private citizen. He didn't say in any way a president was immune from prosecution if he did something wrong. It didn't seem to me like there was overprotection of the presidency, which Barr is famous for. He just kind of laid out his opinion. And what's wrong with making your opinion as a private citizen when you take an oath to uphold the Constitution?
Let me ask you one more quick question. With regard to the transparency issue, once Robert Robert Mueller has this report, it's going to be the Department of Justice that decides what will be released. What are your feelings on that? Given all of this history over the past 2 years, do you believe that the American people should see the report in its entirety?
Yes, absolutely, and I believe that Barr has indicated that to other senators and maybe even in his statement that it ought to be, but I look at it from a fiscal standpoint. I think we're spending $25 to $35 million on this investigation. We ought to know what happened with what we get for that $25 or $35 million.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I think Americans will judge based on that whether or not it was worth 2 years of investigation. That's an open question right now, and we will see, and the country will judge that when it comes forth. Senator Grassley, always good to see you, sir. Thank you very much. We'll be watching tomorrow.
Thank you very much, too.